child is experiencing anxiety, I know that that is a horrible feeling. I have experienced it in my own child myself in a fairly strong way. I'm going to share with you a very practical way that you as a parent can help your child overcome that in many situations. And actually, even if your child doesn't experience anxiety, what I'm going to share with you is practical advice about how the human mind works, how human behavior truly works, and it will prove invaluable for you in many areas of life. Building up your knowledge and your child's knowledge about true human behavior is one of the most important things I believe you can do. And today we're going to cover it in the context of anxiety. And we're going to cover it in two particular angles, two different perspectives we're going to look at it from. Anxiety that is coming up in the future, which is always what it is, by the way, but we're going to look at it from today onwards, but we're also going to look at it in the second part of this video. We're going to look at it from the perspective of possible events that have gone on in your child's life that are causing anxiety now. The solution is somewhat similar, but there are some nuances I want you to get. So stay with me. Let's go through this and actually help you to become a practical coach to your child to help them dissolve some of the anxieties they may be experiencing. Now, let's get to the true essence and the practical way that anxiety comes about. You see, the human mind, basically, in its true essence, is balanced. The true human mind, in its true essence, knows positives and negatives. It knows both sides of things. It knows the good and the bad of something. Deep in our psyche, we're aware of that. But as we go about through our life, we don't tend to notice that. We tend to notice more good or bad, more positive or negative in different situations. Depending on the extreme of how we notice those different things, depends on how we're going to feel. So anxiety primarily comes from when we're looking at an event in the future and we think that event in the future is going to cause us more pain than pleasure, more negative than positive, more drawbacks than benefits. When we look at that event in the future and we see that, or when we're experiencing in our mind those type of outcomes, we're going to feel anxious about that event. Does that make sense? And that in its simplest form, but when I say in its simplest form, don't underestimate the power of this. Is really how the true essence of how the human mind works. So when you're looking at that event and you see more pain than pleasure coming up, you don't want to do it. You want to avoid that. And that's where the anxiety builds up from. And you see that appearing in your child where they don't want to go and do something. They want to draw back from something. They want to avoid something. If we can learn to balance their mind back out, take the reverse situation actually. If we look at an event in the future and we see all good, no bad, all positive, no negative, all the things we like rather than things we dislike, what does your child want to do? They don't hold back. What do? They go. They want to go and do that thing. They're enthusiastic or excited, most probably, to go and do that thing. So can you see actually just how we set things up in our mind changes what we call our motor function. It changes our actual behavior. We either want to do something or we don't want to do something. So in its truest form, in its true essence, anxiety comes when we look at an event in the future. Your child looks at an event in the future, they see more drawbacks to it than benefits. Okay. So how do you help as a parent? So in that situation, it could be a school play they're thinking of in the future and they're worried about messing up in it. They can see in their mind, they think they're going to mess up. There's more drawbacks to that than benefits. It could be a school exam. It could be in a moment with an argument. So it could be in an argument with a friend right now. They could have an argument and already their mind is thinking, oh, if this argument continues, I'm going to lose this friend. And so they're seeing more drawbacks in the future. Even though the future might only be 30 seconds away, they see more drawbacks and get anxious about the argument. Could be a sports event, school sports event where, they see themselves coming last in the race. They see more drawbacks than benefits. And then again, they don't want to do it. They have anxiety about that. So it can become in many different events, but in essence, that's how it's working. So what do we do? Well, if in your child's mind, take the sports event, the last one there, if in their mind they see way more drawbacks to benefits of doing it, then they're going to experience some level of anxiety. If they only see a couple of drawbacks, they might be what you'd call worried about it. They see a few more drawbacks, they might have butterflies about it. They see a lot more drawbacks, they can get anxious about it. Okay, so what do we have to do as a parent? What we can do is we can help them to see where the benefits are to doing the event. Okay, there's two angles I'm going to give you actually here. The benefits to doing the event. Okay, now this is where you've got to be patient and you've got to work with them and help them. And don't by the way, put all the responsibility on you to come up with the answers, and don't rush it. And don't necessarily expect you'll find all the answers to balance out in one session. And let's be realistic here. If you've got a child that's experiencing anxiety, don't rush. I mean, great if you can get that dissolved in a few minutes, but you want to teach them some principles here they can use for the rest of their life. Is that therefore not worthy of having that conversation many times if that's what it requires? Is it not worthy to dedicate some space and time to develop some answers that are truthful, that help your child genuinely dissolve this anxiety and this concern? And hopefully you'll agree it is. So what you want to do is, let's go back to my sports event. If they're anxious about that, ask them, what are the benefits to you of taking part in that event? And they can start to look for the benefits. They may say, well, actually, I'll get support from my friends if I do that, because I can train with my friends. I can learn from my friends. My friends can tell me more about how to become a better runner if it's a running event or throwing a javelin or whatever it's going to be. They can tell me how to get better at that. And then what's the benefit going to be to you of that? Well, actually, I'll get closer to my friends and I'll have a better relationship with my friends. Can you see where I'm going with this? By looking and finding the benefits to taking part in that event, if you can stack those benefits up in your child's mind, they become a bit more even, and then they're going to be less worried or anxious about going ahead and taking part. Now, that could go a long way to reducing the anxiety. Now, here's the slightly more challenging one. If you then go a little bit further and say to them, okay, what is the real thing you're worried about with that sports event? They might say, coming last and having people laugh at me. Okay, very genuine worry for many kids. Now, this is the more challenging one, but again, it's worth doing. Don't hide from it. Again, it's a very easy the parents go, oh, don't worry about that. Won't, if they do, it doesn't matter. They're just not very nice people. Well, sometimes that may work with your child, and that may be enough for some children, but for many it's not. So don't hide from it. Don't push it under the carpet. Instead, say to them, okay, if that does happen, if that worst thing happens, that you come last and people laugh at you, how's that going to benefit you? Now, normally in response to that sort of question, your child goes, Mum, Dad, you flipped out. There's no benefits in that. I can see no benefits. But trust me, they are. The mind doesn't just see one side. It doesn't just see the negative or just the positive. It knows the other side. But we've never trained ourselves to look. And when we look, we can bring our mind back into balance. So you might say, if that does happen, what's going to be the benefit to you? And you might have to look and think, but the child might, with your assistance, might say, well, actually, the benefit to me would be that I realize that I can't be good at everything. It's just not my thing. Whereas actually my thing is art, or my thing is dancing, or my thing is music, or my thing is academics. And actually, another benefit is therefore knowing that I shouldn't have an unrealistic expectation on myself to be able to win a running race. In the same way, I shouldn't have an unrealistic expectation on others to be as good at me as music, if that's what it is. And then so they can start to see the benefit is actually I can be who I am. I don't have to compare myself to another runner who's much better and therefore get myself upset. So you can see where I'm going here is it takes effort. But what I hope you'll begin to realize, it's worth the dedication and the effort. We're talking minutes generally, but maybe over a few sessions. So they're the things that come in the future. Now, here's I said to you the second part. Sometimes events have already gone on a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, several years ago, that similar events come up again in the future, and that causes your child anxiety. you actually can go back into their memory, go back into their mind in the past, and you can do exactly the exercise I just did and help to dissolve an old memory. And when you can dissolve an old memory, the way the mind works is then it has less anxiety about a similar event coming up in the future. So you'd go back to that event, whatever that challenging event was. So let's keep it to the same thing for a moment. Let's say your child came last in a running race the year before and people did laugh. Go back to that event and say, okay, from the moment that happened and from that moment on until today, how did that benefit you? Where did you get support? What did you go and do more of because that happened that you actually found was a benefit? And I promise you again, you'll start to find benefits will come out. And your child again may realize that, well, on the back of that coming last in that running race, actually, I developed a new friend. A new friend came forward who also wasn't a particularly good runner and said, kind of like they supported me and put their arm around me and encouraged me and said, let's go and do something else. So they may have got an amazing friendship out of that. They may have thrown themselves more in to the thing they love and actually then started to excel in the thing they love. And that again might help them to understand, identify their own individual uniqueness. So you can go back into past events and you can look at those events and you can ask the right questions. How did that benefit you from that moment on? And again, the benefit can come in different areas of their life, different subjects at school, different events, hobbies, etc. at school or at home. And you can actually start to dissolve that event. And when you dissolve the event, they don't have the fear of that event coming in the future. Because when they see the event as only negative, of course you're going to have fear of that coming again in the future. But if you can go back and look at it and find the benefits to how it served you, how it served your child, they don't have the same fear of it in the future. And that is so empowering for your child. So this knowledge, as you can see, even if your child doesn't have anxiety, this knowledge of being able to ask these questions, and they're practical questions that for you as a parent, even if you don't necessarily have the skill, you have the ability to ask these questions. And they're great for you to think about as well. So I really hope this lesson on anxiety and understanding the true essence of how the human mind works can help you see how you can help your child begin to dissolve anxiety, even if it's something that's built up from the past. Use this technique and please let me know how you get on. Share some stories where maybe you suddenly see your child beginning to think differently, beginning to be more relaxed about events. Let me know about that. Share those stories. If you have any questions, comments, please put them down below and I'll come back to you and give you my feedback on that. So thank you for watching. My name is Scott Cranfield and I look forward to connecting with you again at another time.